What it do, good people, and welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and this gonna be a crazy ass weekend. Why? Because it's been a crazy ass week. This has been a week for the record books, I think. How wild stuff has been. And I really mean it. The news has been absolutely bonkers. And I've got a lot of it because I didn't do uh, a midweek show this week. So I had the show set up, but it's just life. So I'm covering every doggone thing that I had for the midweek and the stuff that has happened since. And let me tell you, it's just been crazy, the stuff that's been coming out. Outside of that, I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. What it do, Lysandra? Good to see you. Good to have your face in the place. Yeah, wild week in entertainment news. I can't even believe some of the stuff that I'm going to even be saying today. it's just it's just been wild. So we're gonna give a minute because I started like right on time today, like clockwork. So I'm gonna give it a minute, see if I get any other trickle ins, and if not, we're gonna get this show on the road because there's an awful lot to go over. Yeah. Now, one thing that's not entertainment related, but since I've got Lysandra here, I'm going to talk about it for a minute. I haven't been following the situation as closely as she has because for those of you who didn't know, my friend Lysandra is, and I hope that if I'm telling too much of your business, you'll let me know before I start running my mouth uh, about the heart condition that you have before I go into the crazy stuff that's going on with a particular person in the news here lately. So if you feel like I'm telling too much, stop me now. Or forever hold your peace, friend. Forever hold your peace. And you know, a lot of the closer, we've got a core group. Okay, we got a core group of people who generally are in the chat, and everybody in the chat that's kind of a regular has become friends. That is not to say that if you jump in the chat that yeah, if you jump in the chat and it seems like the conversation is kind of friendly or familiar, it's because many of these people, in fact, most of these people have met in the chat and have become friends. And I've got a group of people who come through every week and we've become friends. So you can become a friend too if you just say hi in the chat and jump in whenever you got something to say. But anywho, Lysandra is my best friend, my ace, more like a sister. Okay. So she's got a heart condition and it's very serious. In actuality, it's a serious and it's a very rare case that she has. But she has a device on her heart. It's called an LVAD. I'm pretty sure that you may even know someone who has a similar device. Now, I'm not 100% certain if this gentleman that I'm about to be speaking about has this LVAD device, but there's a man who is currently in the hospital awaiting a heart transplant. And let me tell you, those are not easy to come by. And you have to do an awful lot to even get placed on the heart transplant list. And I'm learning far more about this than I probably ever wanted to know, but I had to know it because my friend is going through it, right? So there's a gentleman sitting his ass in the hospital right now, uh, and he's in need of a heart transplant. In fact, I'm guessing he's close close to, I don't want to put the man in his grave, but he needs this heart. The only thing standing between this gentleman and a heart transplant is the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this is a gentleman who has several young children, and another on the way. And there has been an awful lot of conversation and uproar over this gentleman because he feels as though not having the COVID vaccine shouldn't affect him being put in line for a heart, even though when you become eligible, when you become a person who that is one of the ways that your situation can get a whole lot better is by getting a new heart. They give you a list of things that you have to do, a list of things that you cannot do. One of the things that you have to do, uh, long before COVID even came along, one of the things that would be necessary would be for you to be up to date on all vaccines. That is to now include the COVID vaccine. So the only thing standing between this man and possibly a new lease on life is the COVID vaccine. He's refusing to get it. He's not thinking of his family or his children. However, you would think that the family would be saying, come on, guy, all we need you to do is get this vaccine. This gentleman is saying, no, I'm not. And his family is pretty much saying that the doctors are wrong for not giving him a heart when he has not had this COVID vaccine. Look, man, I don't know. The dude probably, he'll never listen to me. I'm 100% sure. But I'm going to say that if it's the difference between getting some more quality time with your family, your children, your child that you have on the way, seeing your kids hit milestones, get the damn vaccine. Because, I got feelings about this vaccine now. But if it was life or death, and in a lot of people's cases, it is life or death. If it was life or death, I would get the vaccine. If it said to me, if it was like, Tasha, you need a kidney. Tasha, you need a fingernail. Whatever kind of transplant I need, if the only thing that's standing between me and getting it is a shot, I'm taking the shot. I don't know any other way to put it. Now, I am right, and see, Lysandra in the chat is saying she's going to do everything that she has to do because she wants to get on that list. Now, it sounds to me like this gentleman is even closer to getting a heart than she is. But the only thing stopping him is taking this vaccine, and he will not do it. And God forbid, if he passes away, the family, a lot of his friends, and a lot of people online in society altogether are going to feel like he was done wrong. But this man he knew what he had to do. He knew that was a requirement. And you're taking a stand for what? For what? Because I can guarantee you, a lot of these people who talk all this shit, a lot of them would, if they were in your position, they would get the vaccine. So sir or sir's family, if you're listening, encourage him to get the vaccine. Now, what I'm not saying, and yes, I have changed, I have done a complete 180 on this situation. What I'm not saying is that we should force people to take the vaccine. We should not mandate it. And this is why I feel this way. Once we found out that the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting COVID, it just makes the symptoms less severe. Once we found out that it is not a cure, whether you have the vaccine or not, you're likely, probably, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get COVID. Whether or not I'm vaccinated. Only thing I'm missing is a booster. I'm vaccinated, but I can still catch COVID. So the vaccine hasn't stopped me from getting it. So that's why I feel like we should not make anybody. If you don't want to take it, I don't feel like you should be made to take it. I feel like you should uh, want to take it for yourself. If you don't want to take it for yourself, that's fine. You'll take your chances. You'll roll the dice and see how hard you get hit when you get COVID. Because again, 9 times out of 10, we all gonna get it. A person who kind of agrees with me is Evangeline Lilly. Now, Evangeline Lilly made news this week because she attended a protest that was protesting people being made to take this vaccine. She says we should not make anybody take anything that they don't want to take. I'm saying this too. As a vaccinated person, I'm vaccinated. But if you don't want to take the vaccine, you shouldn't be made to. Now, I'm going to pick up Lysandra's comment because Lysandra, my friend who I was just talking about, who has this heart condition, she just got over COVID. And what she was saying is that it hit her in ways that she would not have thought it would. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks and 4 days. It has exacerbated her heart condition. It's made things a little worse, but she's still here. She has lived to fight another day. She beat the virus, and now she has to beat the after effects of the virus. She is also vaccinated. So again, it didn't stop her from getting it. It stopped her from probably dying from this COVID. So Evangeline Lilly attending this protest. People are saying or calling for her head. Oh, excuse me, sorry. People are calling for her head. I'm saying leave her alone. Because now it's not a situation where if you don't get the vaccine, you can give me something. They're gonna get it. We're gonna get it anyway. We're gonna get it anyway. Thank you, Lysandra. So yeah, we're gonna get it anyway. So now, if they want to take a chance, if a person wants to risk having a more severe case of COVID when we get it, then that's their decision. Let them make their decision. Get off of their backs. Encourage the people that you know and love to get a vaccine. If they choose not to, give them the true real life repercussions. The real life repercussions is that if you catch this, when you catch this, it's going to hit your ass really hard, or it could, and things could get bad. I don't believe that we should be canceling people for attending a protest, even though protests have been known to be super spreader events. So you go there and you're already marching and saying that that you believe that people should have the right to choose, and I believe that. The same way I live in Texas. The same way I believe a woman should have a right to choose whether or not she has a baby. I believe that mankind in general should have a right to choose whether or not they take a vaccine. If the only person that not taking the vaccine hurts is themselves, especially when it's that. Excuse me, I'm gonna write my nose. We also have seen this week. I guess we can get into the wrap up, huh? We can just get into the wrap up. It's crazy ass week, like I said. We also have seen this week. What is his name? Neil Young. Gosh, we saw him pull his music off of Spotify. He said you can either have me or you can have Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan is spreading misinformation. So you can have me or you can have Joe Rogan. Spotify, I'm giving you a choice. And Spotify said we'll take Joe Rogan for 100 million, because that's how much the contract is that they're paying him to have his show exclusively on Spotify. So they have decided that, okay, Neil, you can take your music library to Amazon, which he did. Amazon, iTunes. You can still find them other places. He just removed his entire catalog from Spotify. Now, um, vaccine misinformation. The vaccine misinformation, or the just misinformation surrounding this pandemic period. And a lot of people say, you know what, we're going to cancel Spotify. And I'm saying, let's not jump the hell out the window. And this is the reason why I'm saying it. It's not because I'm caping for Joe Rogan. I don't listen to him or watch him. And it's not because I'm caping for Spotify. It's because Spotify had a set of healthcare guidelines that were made long before COVID, but they made some amendments to it. So the question is Joe Rogan in violation of Spotify's healthcare guidelines? Well, let's see, because right here I've got a list, an abbreviated list of Spotify's healthcare guidelines. And Spotify's guidelines prohibits content that promotes dangerous, false, or deceptive content about healthcare that can cause offline harm and or pose a direct threat to public health, such as denying the existence of AIDS, because that was the big thing before. People used to say AIDS didn't exist, but now it's COVID-19. Well, we know that both of these diseases exist. We know that they also are very deadly. So Spotify says if you're denying the existence of these two diseases, then you are in violation. They also say you're in violation if you encourage the deliberate contracting of a serious or life-threatening disease or illness. That's it. So if that's meaning, if I go out and tell you to eat asbestos, and I know that asbestos will give you cancer, and that's how so many people in the past had gotten different forms of cancer. If I tell you to do that, now I am in violation of not just being a moral person, but of Spotify's healthcare guidelines. You cannot suggest that consuming bleach can cure various illnesses and diseases. We know that that's stupid, but there is somebody out there. If the wrong person suggested it, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, they would do it. After our former president just suggested it, people went out and began to inject themselves with bleach. So we know that there are some people with the right voice will say something and they will follow it. So you can't do that on Spotify. Spotify, that was part of their healthcare guidelines. If you suggest that wearing a mask will cause the wearer imminent life-threatening physical harm, you will be taken off of Spotify. So if you tell people, oh, carbon dioxide builds up in your blood if you wear a mask, you are not telling the truth. You're spreading misinformation. Spotify will pull you off for that. Last but not least, if you promote or suggest that the vaccines are designed to cause death, they will pull you off of Spotify. As far as I know, Joe Rogan has not done any of these things. Joe Rogan, I've got an audience of about 10 people. Joe Rogan has an audience of millions of people. So if he were to suggest any of these things, they would probably follow his advice. Even though Joe Rogan is not a healthcare professional, they will follow his advice. We've seen that recently with Aaron Rodgers following the advice of Joe Rogan as it pertains to the vaccine. But Joe Rogan has never said that the vaccine is designed to cause death. So he's covered. Spotify is covered as well. Joe Rogan can almost, he's almost tamed when you look at the things that you can get pulled off of Spotify for saying. So, not that I'm saying that Joe Rogan is uh, the person to listen to as it pertains to these things. I'm saying right now, Joe Rogan has a right to feel the way that he feels about the vaccine, about COVID, or anything else. He also has a right to not spread harmful misinformation. He has a right to spread some harmful misinformation. That is covered by his freedom of speech. That is also covered by Spotify's healthcare guidelines. He can say what he wants as long as he's not breaking these rules. And Joe Rogan doesn't want to fumble his bag. He knows the rules. He knows what the rules are. So he is saying things, and he's kind of, maybe in some folks' opinion, he's tight roping all over the rules, but he has not broken one. He hasn't stepped over the line yet. And we have, just like he has the right to say a whole lot of these things, we have the right to not listen to Joe Rogan. We also have a right to not use Spotify, but to cancel a person or to cancel a platform because of this, I don't think it's right. It borders on censoring people. And I believe I was in the military. Not, and I didn't wear camo because I knew I was going to say that, but I was. I was in the military, and there were a lot of other people who actually went to a war, and they fought. They fought for the ideals that this country stands for, or we're supposed to stand for. And one of those ideals is to be able to speak freely. We can disagree with one another, because just because you feel one way doesn't mean I have to. And it also doesn't mean that I'm your enemy because I disagree with you. And we need to get to the point where we understand that people have a right to feel differently than us. As long as it's not affecting your health and your livelihood, I feel like we should just move on, go on our way. We have an option to not use Spotify. We have an option to not listen to Joe Rogan. And I say, if you feel strongly enough, exercise your option. Exercise your option to not listen to Spotify, or not use Spotify, or listen to Joe Rogan. But I ain't through with Joe Rogan yet. Because without a black person in sight, now these are the types of things that kind of burn me up, because again, protected by free speech. I am also protected by free speech. So without a black person in sight, this is one of the things. On January 25th, Joe Rogan had Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a psychology, former psychology professor. So he had Jordan Peterson, and he's controversial as well. He had Jordan Peterson on his show. And they brought up Michael Eric Dyson. That's a whole other thing. They were saying that Michael Eric Dyson called Jordan Peterson a mean, angry white man. Now, Michael Eric Dyson is protected by free speech as well. He could say that. Well, they went on about how that, wasn't so. And then Joe Rogan had this to say about black people calling themselves black. Joe Rogan said, the black and white thing is so strange because the shades there's such a spectrum of shades of people. Unless you're talking to someone who is like 100% African from the darkest place where they are not wearing any clothes all day, and they developed all that melanin to protect themselves from the sun, even the term black is weird. When you use it for people who are literally my color, it becomes very strange. This is how Joe Rogan feels about people who call themselves black. 100% African, from the darkest place where they're not wearing clothes all day. Well, let's see. Let's see. Look at there. Oh my goodness. We got some Africans wearing clothes. I wonder if they know they're not supposed to have clothes on. Oh, whoa. We got some more Africans. And guess what? They too are wearing clothes. God, I can't believe it. Fucking Africans. How dare you? Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that there are 3 separate groups of Africans and all of them have fucking clothes on? Joe Rogan, clutch your pearls, sir. Clutch your pearls. Because not only do they wear clothes, I'm gonna guess that they wear makeup, and they got cell phones too over there in Africa, where they ain't wearing clothes, and they in the darkest place. It looks pretty light there. Yeah, that looks like it's pretty light in Africa, where people don't wear clothes all day. Wait, but there's more. Bam! They also get vaccines. How about that? With clothes on. Vaccines in Africa, of all fucking places. Really, Joe? Really? This is what you really thought that Africa looks like. This is why I say, before you make a blanket type statement, before you make a blanket assumption, you probably need to run it, especially when it's about Black people. Run it past at least one of your Black friends. They probably will not lie to you. Somebody else who's probably not going to lie about Africa, seeing as though he's from there, is Trevor Noah. And Trevor Noah has some things to say about Joe Rogan, and I'm going to put my headphones on so I can listen to this with you guys. Lysandra, if you're still in the chat, please let me know if you hear the audio. I want to make sure that it's coming across. So, oh, by the way, somebody should tell Trevor Noah that he is the wrong color, because he's not black. Black, like black. Like you've been outside with no clothes on in the sun, in the darkest places. But anywho, that's, to me, the best answer that you can give Joe Rogan about why the term black. Because I agree. We shouldn't even, it shouldn't even matter, right? But besides the fact, Black people, number one, we didn't ask to be over here, but now we're here and we've made it home. And this is where we're comfortable. But again, Black became derogatory. This color skin became derogatory once we got over here. It's not something we chose. We didn't choose the adjective, we want to be Black. We chose, or you guys chose, I'm not going to say you guys, but white folks chose that for us. And then made it even worse that it could be somebody brighter than Trevor Noah, brighter complexion. And because they have one drop of African blood in them, they are Black. And again, like Trevor said, that would inform the way you were treated by society. So that's a reason to not listen to Joe Rogan. So put that right. You know what? I'm going to say put that over the vaccine misinformation. He's just misinformed about a lot of things. And there are people that you can talk to and ask before you go into making just foolish statements, because there are people out there who will agree with that, believe what Joe Rogan says, and think that we chose for ourselves to be called Black. So I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time on Joe Rogan and his the angry white man friend. So I guess, speaking of angry white men, while we're on it, because I told you the week just was flipping batshit this week. The whole week was just freaking crazy. So we go into another angry white guy. But this one might make you laugh.
Whatever was happening
but
here.
I guess I need to
Prejudice.
Stop. Yeah. I just need to know what the F is even happening. What's happening? Because what we're going to have here is a few words from Ezra Miller. You guys know Ezra Miller. He's going to be playing Flash in the upcoming DC movie. Ran into a little trouble a couple years ago. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this clip. But I think you guys are going to find this interesting at the absolute least.
Hi, this is Ezra Miller, aka the Bengal Ghouls, the Mad Goose Wizard, and this is a message for the Beulahville chapter of the North Carolina Ku Klux Klan. Hello, first of all, how are y'all doing? It's me. Look, if y'all want to die, I suggest just killing yourselves with your own guns. Okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about. And then, we'll do it for you if that's really what you want. Okay, talk to you soon, okay? Bye!
And that, and I really hope that you understood. He was talking to the KKK chapter out of North Carolina, Beulahville, North Carolina, and he basically threatened them. He said, "Hey, it's pretty much like if you want beef, we will bring it to your ass." And I want to know what happened. What even made him make this video? What was the beef? Who in the KKK does Ezra Miller have beef with? And does he think he's a fucking superhero for real? Because I really hope that he knows what he's doing. Now, I'm not saying be afraid of the KKK. I don't know what Ezra Miller has up his sleeve and who he has that has his back, who would be willing to take on an entire chapter of the KKK. First and foremost, though, KKK sucks, all right? So we got that out of the way. The KKK does, they suck. All right. So now that we've denounced white supremacy on my channel, after explaining why we are called black in America, now we got the fucking Flash. Threatening the KKK, and he is dead serious. Now, like I said, he got into a little trouble a couple years ago, and the trouble he had gotten into is that he was caught on video somewhere, and it seemed, because it was a video with no audio, or at least the versions of it that I've seen had no audio. There was a video of him that surfaced where he and a woman were having a verbal exchange, and then you saw him reach out and grab this lady by her throat and take her down to the ground. Now, the rumor is that confrontation was because of some things that she was saying that was racist and inflammatory. I have no way of confirming that is the true case. I'm pretty sure somebody is going to tell me that, another story, another side of the story. I don't have a dog in this particular fight. I will say that it's very hard to kind of get behind somebody once you've seen them abuse a woman like that. Even though Ezra Miller is kind of non-binary, he has the they, them pronouns, and he doesn't mind when you say he or him. He understands, that people will do that because I've done it, 150 times since I've been talking about Ezra Miller just now. But it's kind of hard to get behind them, when you've already seen them choke a woman out. But if there's ever a reason, to choke somebody out, if they follow you around and are spewing racist nonsense at you, I can understand how that might get under your skin. Now, I don't know for 100% sure that these two incidents are related to one another. That is just the word on the block. So take it with a grain of salt. I just thought this was like the most random ass, like, smorgasbord of just bullshit, because it just keeps going. I know some of it is not going to seem like big BS to you, but I was just like, this is the weirdest effing week ever. This week has just been weird. So moving on, because while we're speaking of Flash, Grant Gustin is coming back for one more season. Coming back for one more season to a show that I feel like has already run one season too long. That is the CW's Flash. It has already had one season too many, if you've asked me. So that's strange that he is signing up for a 9th season of the Flash. But that is until you hear about the bag. The bag makes it all make sense. Because according to sources, the new contract that Grant Gustin signed comes with a raise for the actor, and his salary is going to be believed to be north of $200,000 an episode. So I also hear that Grant Gustin has capped his involvement at 15 episodes next season. So 15 episodes, $200,000 an episode. Yeah. At $3 million, I'm like, yeah, Grant, I get it now. I get why you decided that you're coming back for one more season of the CW Flash. Now, if you feel any type of way about anything that I'm talking about, go ahead and jump in the chat. Also, if you want to know where I'm getting my information, look in the description of wherever you're watching this video, and it's got a list, and it's in no particular order. It says that right at the top of the list. It's in no particular order, but it is every article that I use as a source for this particular one was sourced by Deadline. So yeah, now I got like just something just random, because I was thinking about Kid Cudi. Why was I thinking about Kid Cudi? Because I was watching the Moonlight trailer again, and he had that day and night. What? Okay, the perfect use of the song "Day and Night" was in that Moonlight trailer. But Kid Cudi might just make Oscars history by having 2 original songs nominated at the same time. So that to me was just like worth at least just mentioning. That, along with the fact that we also have Jay-Z and Beyonce, they may or could become the first husband and wife to face off one another for the best song in Oscar nominations this year as well. We're not going to get all that. We're either going to get Jay-Z and Beyonce facing off. We're going to get Kid Cudi with 2 songs, or we're going to get Kid Cudi versus Jay-Z or Beyonce. We're not going to get all of it. So right now, I think we could just be happy knowing that somebody who looks like me is going to show up for Best Song in the Oscars, even though that's pretty much the only place you can guarantee Black people show up a lot, is in Best Song, Best Original Song. So moving on. Ian McKellen. And let me tell you, I love Ian McKellen, and I always have. And I'm sorry, he's Sir Ian McKellen. He's been knighted by the Queen over there. But anywho, Ian McKellen says he wants to do a musical. So I say, let Ian McKellen do a musical. Let him do it. He says he can't sing now, so that might be a little bit of a problem. But for the decades of fine work that this man has done, as far as cinema, as far as stage plays, and all the entertainment that he has given us, I say, let him have it as a gift. Give him a role in a musical as a gift for him entertaining us over the years, being a stellar actor, being a good sport, making my friend Sir Patrick Stewart happy. And as he says, you can see his quote right here. Ian McKellen says he doesn't have much more to prove in his career, so why not just do the things that he enjoys doing, like getting in front of an audience and entertaining them. And I say, if that is on his bucket list, let him check it off. If you have an opinion about Ian McKellen getting to do a musical, I'm saying make it so. Make it so, just like his good friend Patrick Stewart says. But if you feel differently, let me know in the comments. But I think if the man wants to do it, if he knows what his limitations are, that he's not a singer, he knows what his limitations are. Let's be real, he got more days behind him than he has in front of him. So I say, if it will make him happy, if this is something that he really wants, let him do it. Find a role for Sir Ian McKellen. This was one of those feel-good kind of stories because, yeah, I think he deserves. I think he has a right to go out. If that's the role he goes out on, let it be something that he wanted to do. So let me know how you feel about Ian McKellen. I'm moving on. Now, this one is about this documentary. This Aftershock documentary is coming out, or it came out at Sundance, and it's of particular interest to me. And I know it sounds like all I'm talking about is black, 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 blackity black. I am black, though. Have you noticed that? Well, according to I'm dark brown. I'm a darker brown. So anywho, I'm a black person. So this documentary is of particular interest to me because I'm well aware of the disparity of care given by health professionals to black women. Black women, you know, we kind of get it. We get it rough. And I'm going to tell you a personal story. And I'm not going to get too graphic. I would have my monthly, and it was excruciating. I was in excruciating pain. And this was not just like as I got older or after I had my son. This was my entire life. I would literally get sick. It would feel like my insides were turning inside out, tying all up, knots. I was made to think that that was normal. When I would see other people and they weren't suffering the way that I suffered, I was made to feel it was normal. And I walked away after going through this for years, for decades even, until recently. I had a surgery to correct all of that. But I was made to feel like they think that black women don't experience pain in the same way as white women. And I can say this because I had white counterparts who had similar issues, and they were given a plethora of treatments. Like, you can get this done, you can get that done, and if this doesn't work, we'll try this. When they went to the hospital and complained about pain. So I walked away believing that they think that black women have superhuman strength, which in a lot of cases we do. But when one of us is telling you we are in pain, we are in pain. Well, this is not that, but it did make me think of it. because what this documentary is about is talking about the disturbing rate at which African American women are dying during or after childbirth, about 4 times the rate of white women in America. Now, celebrity example would be Serena Williams. After the birth of her daughter, Alexis Olympia, um, she was telling the nurses, the medical staff, that she was experiencing issues and pain, and they were kind of like blowing her off because I guess they felt like everybody has issues or pain after they had a baby. But this was a very particular kind of pain. And uh, Serena, because she had experienced this pain before, kind of knew what it was, contacted her own doctor, told them what was going on. Turns out that she had blood clots. And if those blood clots would have traveled through her bloodstream, and she could have lost her life, like many other African American women. She could have lost her life after the happiest moment of your life, becoming a mother. And that's why, I kind of think about Erica Badu. People laugh when they hear that Erica Badu is a doula. But the reality is we need more black folks. Um, we need more doulas. We need more midwives. More black folks embracing that call to kind of assist new mothers up to that 6 week checkup. Because only in America do you have a baby and then the next time you see a doctor is in 6 weeks, and guess what? That's when you're going back to work. And it's also only in America, and especially Black America. And I'm not speaking of everybody. I don't know everybody's experience, but there are two very common experiences amongst Black mothers. The one thing is you have your mother or another loved one, you have your baby, and they just take over, and you don't get that opportunity to bond, you know. Or you have a mother who says, "Oh, that's your baby. Now you went out and had a baby, you take care of it." When a child needs all the care that it can get, even if that means uh, bringing in somebody to assist you, such as a midwife or a doula. Now, if you don't know what a doula is, or a midwife for that matter, a midwife provides medical care for you during pregnancy, birth, and the immediate postpartum period. A doula provides you and your family with emotional, informational, and physical support during pregnancy, birth, and the immediate postpartum period. Both are highly trained, both are people who are there to assist you through a happy time, but a very stressful time. I think it is of importance that all of us watch that documentary, the uh, Aftershock, and that we also keep these things in mind, the things that you learn in the documentary, and just that we need to be a better support for the next generation. There can never be too much love, and these children sometimes need it. So that's a documentary that I really wanted to watch. I'll be glad when it's available to the greater public. I wish I could have seen it at Sundance because that was one that I had on my Sundance wish list. And hopefully, when it comes out, as far as coming out to the greater public, I might be able to do a show, a more than a movie on that one because it is very important. And I've got a grandchild on the way. So my plan is to be the support. I can't say that I didn't have. I believe my son's grandmother tried. But I think that given my experience, the experience of people that I know, and also the things that I have been learning ever since I had my son, which was 27 years ago, I think that I am prepared to be the help that she might need. And I honestly, I'm not going to be that grandmother that just takes over. So that was a happy announcement that I just made as well. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Now, on Lifetime and A&E, I believe, um, Janet Jackson is opening up on her documentary. And that documentary started last night on Lifetime and A&E. I think you can catch it at like 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in the Central Time Zone, about 7 o'clock tonight, you can watch the second part of the Janet Jackson documentary. But again, first episode was yesterday. It's been being executive produced by Miss Jackson herself and is set to coincide with the 40th anniversary of her first album. That 4-hour docuseries is full of never seen before footage and commentary on her relationship with her brother Michael and that Super Bowl 2004 unveiling. Now, I chose this picture because this is one of Clarence's favorite pictures. He mentioned that to me once, and when I was finding my pictures for this, I was like, you know what? Clarence said he liked that. It was like that one picture that stood out from his childhood, and he ain't even here. But hopefully, if he watches it on the rebroadcast, he will appreciate the work that I put in for him. But anywho, yeah. Now, I didn't watch it. I'm going to have to wait until it comes on Hulu or something because I don't have that Lifetime and all that foolishness. But it was said that she's talking about a lot of things. And then one of the things that she's talking about in this was her relationship with Michael. Now, one of the things that surprised me was that as they both were starting to come into their own successes, it became, in her opinion, it became competitive. She became like a competitor to him. And you know that there are people who are super competitive as professionals. That's your Michael Jordans, your Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Kobe. I'm trying to think. LeBron James, people who are hyper competitive. They don't like losing at all. They above and beyond just being a player of a sport. It's like they live and breathe this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Jackson was the same way. And if he saw his sister as somebody who was kind of stealing his shine. So that was one of the things that kind of stood out to me as I was reading transcripts and documents about Janet and Michael's relationship. But then the other thing was she said that he spoke abusively to her. He called her names. She said, there were times when Mike used to tease me and call me names. Pig, horse, a slaughter hog, a cow. He would laugh about it, and she said she'd laugh too. But then there was that somewhere down inside that hurt. And I can honestly say that took me by surprise. For somebody, now, brothers and sisters, we rib only one another. And I had some brothers who the ribbing was taken too far as well. You know, one of my brothers, he took it too far quite a bit. And as you grow up, you internalize that. And that becomes a thought that kind of, you're burdened with that thought. It's a nagging thought that what they said was true. And this, to me, can kind of talk about how Janet's weight has fluctuated over the years. And this is not to say that it's his fault. I wouldn't say that at all. But it's a contributing factor. Things could have turned a whole heck of a lot worse because she said it hurt her. She could have believed that shit. So here you have one of the most talented, most beautiful women in the world, the best performers and entertainers in the world. And she is burdened with the thoughts of the things that her brother said about her as they were growing up, and probably beyond that. Now, she doesn't, here what I read didn't say that it stopped when she was a teenager or whatever. So maybe there's more to that story. But Janet, I feel like the child shouldn't have had to go through that. And then, also having a crazy relationship with her father, the relationships that she had with her husbands. She even addressed in this docuseries, she even addresses the thought of that she had a love child, or she had a child with her first husband, the DeBarge guy. That she had a child and that one of her siblings was raising a child. She says it's not true. We don't have any way of saying that it is. So I'm going to roll with what she said until there is something that can be proven, substantiated that this woman had a child. In fact, it ain't even my business if she did. That's between her and God and that child. So, especially since now that child would probably be in their 30s or 40s, 30s at the absolute least. If you got a child in the 30s and you still sitting on national television denying that you had the child, you got to answer for that, not me. So if she's telling the truth, then leave her the fuck alone. If she's telling a lie, she got to live with it. So again, leave her the fuck alone. But the things that she's sharing with us is very eye-opening. I hope you all, if you are so inclined, watch the documentary, and maybe when it becomes available on something other than Lifetime and A&E, I can sit down and I can watch it, and we can really get into a conversation about what Miss Jackson had to say during this docuseries. It's 4 hours. It's got to be a lot to say. All right. And I am at an hour. Goodness gracious. Hey there, Reinhardt. Well, you have a good day at work, sir. All right, moving on. We get another Masters of the Universe. Kyle Allen, this kid, he's going to be the next He-Man. Now, Sony has been talking about this He-Man project for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And they never do it. They never did it. This is going to be coming out with Netflix. So Netflix is going to be releasing this Masters of the Universe project pretty soon. And look, there was a lot of other projects. I don't know if I kept that article loaded. I don't think I did. Let me look at my phone real quick to see. I don't think I did. But it was just wild to me that this project, along with a Barbie project, it was like a whole list of shit from the 80s. They making all these new projects. So this is going to be a live action version of the Masters of the Universe. It's going to be starring Kyle Allen. Kyle is best known right now for the work that he did on the West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. So riding a high from that, we're going to get this young man as He-Man. And I'm trying to look and I'm trying to decide to myself, self, does he fit the bill? Now, I can't tell in this jacket, in this little suit that he's got on here, if he is big enough or if he is the potential. His body frame, does it look like he has the potential to get big enough to play the role of He-Man? However, as far as just being a handsome young man, he's got that in spades. But what I want to know is, will he be able to embody both Adam and He-Man? You know, it's a very distinct difference. That's why I always thought that it would be a good idea to have one person, one actor play Adam and another actor play He-Man. Because when you watch the cartoon, going back to the 80s, um, Adam kind of got small and he looked real regular. And then once he said the little words and once he turned into He-Man, now all of a sudden he's all extra ripped. So I'm wondering how we're going to see that, because honestly, I never could understand how y'all can just look at his face and tell that that's the same boy. But okay, it was a cartoon. It's not supposed to make sense. I'm wondering if how hard it will be to make a huge difference between He-Man and Adam in a live action version. Of course, we had a live action version way back. We talking about now. We do have CG effects, you know, where we can do that, or this guy could just really beef up. I am interested in seeing it, so let me know in the comments if you are also interested in seeing how Netflix pulls this thing off with He-Man, and also Sony has retained the rights to distribute this film in China. So while it won't get a big screen release here in the States, it will in China. Okay, and then here's another one of these stories, and I want to make sure that I want to pull up the story about the end of this story. Um, because what we got is Peter Dinklage. And Peter Dinklage is probably the most recognizable actor who has dwarfism uh, in Hollywood. He's got to be the biggest name actor. And upon hearing that they are going to be doing a live action version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Peter Dinklage spoke out. He spoke out against that. He said, I was a little taken aback when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White. You're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, and you're still making that fucking backward story about seven dwarves living together in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause for my soapbox? Those were the very pointed words of Peter Dinklage. He was talking to the Disney execs who made the decision to come on with this Snow White live action movie, and he felt like it would be a step back to dwarves everywhere, right? Well, let me pull up this article so that I make sure, because Disney responded. Disney heard Peter Dinklage, and he said, you know what? I mean, not he. Disney said, we're taking a different approach to this adaptation. After hearing what he had to say, They said that they are going to try to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, and that they are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. So they're looking forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. So as it stands, um, it looks like they were going to go one way. They were going to use the dwarves. Then Peter Dinklage spoke out for dwarves everywhere, and they are like, nope, we're just going to have magical creatures now. We're not going to have dwarves. Well, you would think that that would be the end of the story, but now there are other dwarves in the entertainment industry who are pissed off. They said Peter Dinklage just put 7 of us out of a job. And that's the truth. You have to think, there were 7 actors lined up. This was probably about to be a big payday for them. They were going to be in this Disney movie. Ain't no telling how many sequels and all that kind of shit they was going to get. And here Peter Dinklage just spoke on behalf of the entire dwarfism community, and they did not want him to. Dwarf actors Dylan Postel, Jeff Brooks, and Katrina Kemp told Daily Mail it was a wrong move for Disney to cancel the roles of the 7 dwarfs in its Snow White remake. The movie studio said it was rethinking them after Peter Dinklage called the story and roles backwards. Now, Dinklage made $1.2 million per episode on Game of Thrones. So some actors are now calling him selfish for his comments on the Snow White movie. That was a job that they were going to have. He might feel like that role would be beneath him, but they felt like it would have been an opportunity for a good payday, and he blew it for him. Now, here was another gentleman, same dude, Dylan Postel. He said Peter Dinklage may be the biggest dwarf actor of all time, but it doesn't make him King Dwarf. And I can agree with that. Now the other female actor, Katrina Kemp, she said writing characters out of the remake entirely does more damage than casting anyone would. So I mean, they obviously feel some type of way, and they don't feel like they were consulted about the decision that Disney was making as far as not having the dwarves in Snow White. Finally, we've got 62-year-old Jeff Brooks, who is a dwarf and an actor. And he said he has never been offended by the story throughout his 30-year career as an actor. So they're pissed off. So again, this might have been a situation where Disney heard one voice, and just because the voice is the loudest doesn't mean it's the most important. Peter Dinklage said what he said. He feels how he feels. And Peter Dinklage doesn't have to take the role of a dwarf in the Snow White story. There are 1,010,000 different kinds of stories that can be told using a dwarf. All of them are not written for Peter Dinklage. So while I think that he felt like he was doing the right thing, again, he didn't consult with anyone else before he said what he said, and Disney didn't consult with anyone else before they decided, well, we're going to pull the plug on the dwarves. So now we've canceled the dwarves in Snow White for no motherfucking reason. For no freaking reason. Hopefully Disney listens to the voices of the actors who were looking forward to those roles and those paydays, and will rethink it and have the little people in it and being, even if they use them as magical creatures instead of calling them 7 dwarfs. Peter Dinklage probably stepped out of turn. He's probably spoke out of place. in this situation. And it's a shame because it just means that somebody is not going, there was a job for somebody that now they're not going to have. So, y'all know what to do. If you have feelings, if you feel some type of way about this story, put it in the comments or the chat at your leisure. Now we got also Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa, yes. Jason Momoa is going to be in Fast 10. Excuse me. And that's because, you look at it like, hey, Jason Momoa is starting to get a little busy, and this is right on the heels of the announcement of him and his wife splitting after so many years of marriage and so many years of being together. They are splitting, and the roles just keep rolling in for him. This time he is going to be in Fast 10. News of the actor's casting comes just as Dwayne Johnson recently declined Vin Diesel's invitation to reprise his role as secret agent Lucas Hobbs for the upcoming film after they had a public back and forth. So no Rock. You're not getting no Rock, but you are going to get Aquaman. You're going to get Jason Momoa in Fast 10. And I mean, if you can't get The Rock, I guess, is he like the next best thing right now? I'm gonna say, yeah, I think he's the next best guy. Especially if you're just gonna have a guy walking around, shirt off, sexy. Yeah, I guess Jason Momoa would be the guy to get to just come and be Jason Momoa in another movie. That's wonderful. That's great. And I don't know. That's all I really have on that. I don't have anything else about Jason Momoa with Fast 10. But I guess, if you have to replace The Rock, or if you have to get an actor, not The Rock, because none of them are going to be The Rock. But if you want to bring somebody who's going to bring in, put some booties in the seats, I guess Jason Momoa will do it. And now I'm thinking this mission is really impossible. This mission really got to be impossible because this Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible, they've been talking about this. They've been working on it forever and ever, and then they keep moving the dates. This time, Mission Impossible 7 has moved again. It's moving from September 30th, 2022, all the way to July 14th, 2023. Keep in mind, and I haven't checked, I don't know for certain, but keep in mind that July, that little area around in there is usually a Marvel movie coming out right around that same time. So hopefully we don't see another move. But September 30th is no longer going to be the date for Mission Impossible. It's moving to July 14th, 2023. And Mission Impossible 8 is coming from July 7th, 2023 to June 28th of 2024. So all of that shit's been pushed a year. It's been pushed a whole year to me, because we've been talking about when is Mission Impossible 7 coming out for a while now. We've been talking about this for a while. And I'm believing, again, that this mission is really, really, really impossible. Then, just a little aside. Have y'all watched Injustice on HBO Max? Let me tell you. Oh, it ain't the best DC animated feature. It's not. However, and I'm going to do a review on it. But Superman goes apeshit on damn near everybody in this fucking movie. And it's a feature-length animated movie. So Superman he loses shit. You see him with this whole 3 o'clock shadow going on. Yeah, but Injustice takes place in a reality in which Superman kills the Joker after the Joker is inadvertently or kind of indirectly responsible for the death of a pregnant Lois Lane. So, and also, not just Lois Lane, the destruction of the whole fucking city of Metropolis. In his trauma, the Man of Steel decides that his old methods of fighting for justice are insufficient, leading him to become a dictator over the entire world. This causes a conflict to erupt among the other heroes of Earth, with some siding with Superman's new cause and other joining Batman's resistance. Um, uh, uh, this was like a fever dream I had of what would happen if Superman, again, just goes ape shit on the whole freaking world. And it kind of makes me think of Invincible, Omni-Man. Omni-Man is a picture of what Superman would be if Superman just went off the hinges. The difference is Omni-Man's intentions for Earth were never good. Superman, his nickname is the big blue Boy Scout. So like you got a character that is so inherently good, to see them turn is a dream come true, really, for me. I've been wanting to see it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been making this up in my head to actually see it played out. I would like to see it played out a little bit more as far as a live action version of it. Yes, I would. And I'm not talking, excuse me. Oh, so sorry. I'm not talking about a campy version of it. I'm talking about being dead serious. That's something I want to see. Hopefully, you guys watch Injustice. I have a strong affinity for DC's animated content most of the time. This one was just okay, but to see Superman go freaking crazy, it was worth it. It was worth watching an okay movie. So watch that on HBO Max. It's on there now. Staying in DC. We're gonna stay in DC for just a moment. Like I said, it's a lot. I had a lot to this show today. We have Dwayne Johnson. And he's gonna be playing Black Adam, and they've been threatening us with that Black Adam movie for decades. Well, now this year we're finally going to get it. We're finally gonna get Black Adam. Dwayne Carter. Oh God, not Lil Wayne, The Rock. Dwayne Johnson has given us what the difference between Black Adam and Superman and Batman, those traditional heroes. So he says that in the traditional DC universe, as we all know, if you do something wrong, Superman and Batman are going to try and bring you to justice, unless you meet up with that Superman in the story I was just talking about right before that. And that Superman is going to fuck you up. In this situation, though, we talking about regular Superman. Regular Superman is just going to bring you to justice, right? If you do something wrong to Black Adam, you're going to die. It's just that simple. And I like that he put it just so plainly, because even in the little sneak footage, even the little teaser we got back in DC fandom, there was a fucking train wreck this year, but that's another story for another day. Black Adam looks to be a darker fare. We watched Black Adam kill somebody in the teaser. So I hope that they don't take their foot off the gas as they're giving us the rest of this movie. This movie should be just as dark as that teaser. And I want to see Dwayne Johnson embody the character, and not just be Dwayne Johnson being Dwayne Johnson being Black Adam. No, I want to see Black Adam, because he says he was born to play this character. And let me tell you, if you've been a fan of the Black Adam character over over years, for decades even, you know that he's not wrong. This character looks like it was made for him before we even knew who he was. He was born to play Black Adam. So now, give it all to us. Give us the story, the way that it should be told of Black Adam. I don't want to see a watered down version of this. And I'm not saying that if they do come out with a PG-13, or if it's not R rated, I'm not one of those people that say, oh, if it ain't R rated, I'm not going. Because I've also seen some pretty good movies that were R rated. The Dark Knight being one of them. It was a PG-13 movie, and it was freaking fantastic in what it brought out of the character of the Joker and of the Batman. I hope that we are doing something similar with Black Adam. I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. We've been waiting for decades, so I guess I could wait a little longer. But I can't wait to see what The Rock does with this character. I'm super excited to see, and I hope you are too. I hope we go out and support this movie just like we do, the Marvel Fair. Give it a chance. Give it a chance, and hopefully I won't regret pushing everybody in that direction, because it looks like it has the potential to be something special. Speaking of The Rock, because like I said on the thumbnail, I don't know if you saw it, The Rock is everywhere except for in Fast 10. We got Chris Evans and Dwayne Johnson teaming up for an Amazon holiday movie this time, Red One. Now, last year it was The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, and they were doing Red Notice. This one is called Red One. Now, hopefully, it's not set in a jungle. Hopefully, we never, ever, ever go to the jungle. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. I'm going to tell you. Let me see. I went to bed at about 11 last night. I woke back up by 3. I've been up since. So, if I'm yawning a lot, I apologize. I've been up for a long time, and as soon as I get done here, I am going to wash this makeup off my face and take my ass to bed. Oh, but yeah, these two. This is like an insanely handsome pair to put in the movie. I don't know what they're trying to do with us or to us. But yeah, another holiday movie with Dwayne Johnson. This one on Amazon. It's called Red One. I'm gonna hope we don't see no parts of a jungle, because then I'm gonna have to say there has to be a clause in this man's contract that says that he has to be in the jungle for every single movie at some point. We got when we going in the jungle. He was in the jungle for every damn thing. Now you think I'm through? You think I'm through with Dwayne Johnson? We didn't talk about Dwayne Johnson not being in Fast 10. We've talked about Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. We've talked about Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans in Red One. Then we also have Dwayne Johnson kind of threatening us with another fucking movie. And the movie that he's threatening us with now is unknown. He's not telling us, but we do know that it is based upon a highly popular video game franchise. We know that. So we know it's not Uncharted, right? Right? We know it's not Halo, right? Right? Stay with me. So, I mean, we can start trying to eliminate what franchises it won't be. What Dwayne Johnson, in his cryptic comments about this movie, is that he's always been a big Madden fan. He said, I can't tell you which game in particular we're doing, but there will be an announcement this year. We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen. One that I've played for years. Now, I I'm not a gamer. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know. But I know what it's not because we're already getting an Uncharted with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. We're already getting this Halo series. And there are certain ones that we know that we're not going to get. So what do you guys think it is? If you got an idea, if you got a clue, and if you're watching this now or on the rebroadcast, tell me in the comments exactly what you think. What is your best guess at what game we gonna get Dwayne Johnson being a big part of? And it is one of the biggest, most badass games. He's bringing that to the screen. I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to what you guys think it is. So I don't know. I think that might be my last Dwayne Johnson story. Now, this is one that's just near and dear to me because I have come to have a very strong love for Doug Jones. Doug Jones plays in Star Trek Discovery as Captain Saru, or Mr. Saru as he's being called this season. So, I got a little special place in my heart, especially because this is one of those, he's the actor that you think of when you start thinking of doing like body acting, and he does the full prosthetic type of characters. This Doug Jones is going to be honored this year with the inaugural chair award at the Makeup Artist and Hairstylist award ceremony on February 19th. And to just bring it all home with a whole Star Trek Discovery bow on it, the award is going to be presented to Doug by his co-star on Star Trek Discovery, Sonequa Martin Green. And look, two of my favorite characters on Star Trek Discovery, but Sonequa Martin Green is just the shit to me, period. Oh, Lysandra, you say Grand Theft Auto for that The Rock. Man, that would be something. Grand Theft Auto. And it seems like, and I'm going to take a second to look it up. It seems like Grand Theft Auto, I have been hearing something about. But that would be something. Let me put my glasses on here. Movie. See, it says Grand Theft Auto movie 2021. That one is coming out already. Ain't that some shit? Is that? A Grand Theft Auto movie is coming. So I'm guessing, yeah, that one is coming out. Ain't that some ish? I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so I don't be having no clue what movie surrounding games comes out. But that was a really good guess. And if he's in it, that would make me laugh. But Sonequa Martin Green is one of my favorite actresses ever. Like ever. She's one of my favorite. The hierarchy of Black actresses for me, and of course, everybody has their picks. But the hierarchy goes Regina King, and then Viola Davis. You get those with Whoopi Goldberg in there. Sonequa Martin Green has got to be in my top 5. Definitely in my top 5. And I just love her. I love her as Michael Burnham on Star Trek Discovery, but I just love her whole vibe, especially her face acting. But when I'm looking for somebody to put on a bunch of prosthetics and to still be able to show a nuanced, layered kind of emotional performance, I want Doug Jones. So congratulations to Doug Jones on February 19th. He's going to be getting the Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Award at their annual award ceremony. So good for him. Good for him. And then we also have Star Wars veteran Anthony Daniels. He was on Instagram and he said he's going to return as C3PO for an unnamed project. So I thought Lysandra would be very happy to hear that because we don't know what project it is and when we'll be getting it. But we know that C3PO is coming back. And that means we also know that we're going to get a big project from Star Wars really soon. And let me tell you, the Book of Boba Fett, it's getting so good. And then you still have Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out this year. We still oh gosh, what else is it this year? Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know if Ahsoka Tano is coming out this year. There's a lot of good news on the Star Wars front. This is just one piece of it, and I just was excited to hear that Anthony Daniels is going to be back as our favorite protocol droid, C3PO. So, yes. And then we getting Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We getting Percy Jackson back. So that's going to be a Disney Plus series, I think. And it's going to be Rick Riordan. He personally announced that one is going to be a series that is going to be on Disney Plus. And I think I heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger had been cast as Zeus. So don't quote me on that. But I did. I think I heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be Zeus on this Percy Jackson and the Olympians show. So I'm excited to see the series. I don't know how many people are going to be as excited as me. Lysandra is going to be happy about her Star Wars shit. But yeah, but also this Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I'm extremely interested because, of course, if you don't know, I'm MCU head. I love the MCU, so we have gotten a lot of the Norse mythology with Odin and with Thor and Loki. This is going to give us the Greek side of things with Zeus and all of that. I know Zeus is Greek. Hercules. And who else? It's a lot of it's a lot of Olympians. And my a little birdie told me that Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be Zeus. So we're gonna keep our eye on that project as it continues to be developed. Then we got, if you're watching what's the name of the dang show? Peacemaker. Oh, you getting the piece? I mean, you're happy about Percy Jackson too? Yeah, that's an exciting thing. But that's going to be a series. It's not going to be a movie. So that's something that you can watch on Disney Plus. And I'm pretty sure probably we'll probably could look forward to it next year. I wouldn't say by the end of this year. Even though it's kind of early this year, they could still swing it. Now, this, God, I didn't put his name in here. Who is he? What is his name? Because the Peacemaker series is very new to me. And Shakwudi Iwuji, he is the one that's playing. Shakwudi Iwuji is playing Mern on Peacemaker. Well, we also are getting rumors that he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We talked about the rumors. We talked about the High Evolutionary, and I was asked, what the hell is a High Evolutionary? I'm glad you asked me. And I said I was going to answer it today, so here is that answer, and hopefully, if you submitted that question, you know who you are, then you will be watching this on the rebroadcast because I don't see you here today. Herbert Edgar Wyndham. Now, he was later known by the Lord High Evolutionary. This was an intelligent dude in the comic books, strong, powerful mind, and they say even in the universe. but he was a geneticist from the 20th century. So that would be in the 19, so he was, he's a geneticist. He became obsessed with furthering the evolution of life on this planet. So he started doing experiments, and most of the time he did these experiments on himself and turned himself into a more highly evolved person. And that is who we could possibly be seeing. Oh God, I can't think of the man's name again. Ain't that some shit? I just looked at his name and now I can't think of it. I think it's Shakuti Awudi. I think that's his name. So yeah, so if you're looking forward to seeing more of Mern, that is a possibility of seeing him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Also, besides what we're watching him on Peacemaker, there is a little rumor that James Gunn is getting another series from on DC, which would be absolutely excellent because Peacemaker has proven to be such a good show. I'm like, okay, I'm here for more. I've liked what I've seen from James Gunn thus far, and especially the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So if they're saying in DC we're going to give you another series, so be it. So Bennett, Peacemaker is now the top series this at this time right now on all streaming services. Top series on HBO Max, top series on all streaming services. It's the number one watched series in the United States. So I'm thinking that's a good idea. Give them another flipping series. And guess what else I was hearing? That there might be a Peacemaker season 2. Now, we can't say because we don't know how season 1 ends. But that is a little rumor, little bird out there putting out rumors. But yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow about this latest episode of Peacemaker. So if you're watching Peacemaker, Star Trek Prodigy, which was another excellent episode, and what's the third show I'm watching? Peacemaker. Oh, and the Book of Boba Fett, another excellent episode. Join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. tomorrow, where we will be discussing all of those streaming shows. But yeah, Black Panther 2, as I move on, and we're heading into Marvel and down the home stretch. Black Panther 2, Lupita Nyong'o, she had COVID a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. So she has now been said that she has gotten back in shape post having that diagnosis, and Black Panther 2 is back on, baby. Yes, they are starting their recording again, that she is doing well. I'm so glad to hear it because this is another one of my favorite actresses. This queen has been in quite a bit lately, and I'm glad that she was, vaccinated and that she beat the virus. Now we can just get this filming back on track of Black Panther 2, get this production, get the train rolling again on the production. I'm very happy, though, that we are learning that she does not have any lingering effects and that she was able to get herself back into shape after being diagnosed with COVID. Speaking of Black Panther, there's a little rumor going on out there that we might see Killmonger. I don't know how. I thought we watched him die. I thought we watched him die together. We didn't see no funeral or nothing. But I thought we watched him die together, all of us, way back in February of 20, whatever that is. Yeah, I thought we watched him die, but it's possible that he's not dead. And he also said that I think it's a character in a world that he loves so much. So who knows? He says, but as we all know, Marvel has their plans and their things. Who knows how things are going to shake out? Well, I'm going to say you would know. You would know, Michael B. Jordan. You would know if you were coming back. to play Killmonger, especially when this movie is coming out in November. You would know. So either you playing games and putting us through this mental agony of trying to figure out whether or not you're going to be in this movie, or you know you're going to be in it. You know, ain't no surprise. So if you're going to be in it, sir, tell us. Just tell us. Tell us the truth. We can take it either way. But would I be glad to see him back? In the absence of Chadwick Boseman, yes. I would be happy to see him back. Especially if they bring him in from another universe and he was an entirely different person in that other universe. And yes, bring him on in and let him do his thing and be the Black Panther or whatever. If it ain't him and they don't make him Black Panther, and look, just give me a story that when I watch it, I can say, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's all I want to be able to do. And within the magical, mystical world of Wakanda, whatever y'all do, I hope it makes sense. And if it makes sense, I'm behind you. This is an unprecedented thing. We have not had this situation happen before in a Marvel movie where we lose an actor before they finish out their arc. So I understand a lot of people being upset, angry, mad, either way. Lasandra says he's not dead. I understand people being upset, angry, mad, however they feel about whether or not they should recast T'Challa or whatever you feel. As long as it makes sense within the realm of the story, I'm good. So if Killmonger comes back, I'm gonna be behind it as long as the story makes sense. If he doesn't come back, or if they bring him back and say, "Look, y'all, it's T'Challa," and we're supposed to pretend that Michael B. Jordan has been T'Challa the whole time, I guess I might be able to get behind that too. Just do something and have a reason for doing it to make me say, "Oh, okay." Because that's all I'm looking for. I'm into the logic of an illogical, made up fictional universe. I still want things to be a little logical. That's all. But as Lasandra said, he ain't dead. We did not have a funeral. You're right. We didn't see him get cremated. Nothing. He might be still in Wakanda somewhere. Moonlight. Now, there's a new synopsis for Moonlight, and it becomes important to me. First of all, I really like this graphic. I must pat myself on the back, even though it's elementary to a lot of people. I think this is some of my best work. But anywho, the series is following Stephen Grant. Now, as we know, most of the time, in comic books, the alpha personality is Mark Spector. This time, it's Stephen Grant. And Stephen Grant is not working as a curator in a museum. He's a mild-mannered gift shop employee at this museum. And he becomes plagued with blackouts and memories of another life. Stephen then discovers he has dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called multiple personality disorder. So those two personality disorders are the same thing. Dissociative identity disorder equals multi-personality disorder. So he shares this body with mercenary Mark Spector. So as Stephen/Mark's enemies converge upon them, they must navigate their complex identities while thrust into a deadly mystery among the powerful gods of Egypt. So gives us a little bit more understanding, because also in the comic books there are more than those two personalities. Now I'm not sure if we're going to learn in the series that there are also more personalities. These are just the two we know about. I'm tempted to believe that there are more personalities, because when I look at the trailer that I have been watching over and over, hence what I said at the top of the episode about the Kid Cudi So that's why I said it, because I've been watching this trailer. And when you look at him, when he's looking in a reflective surface, it is not just him and one other reflection. There are two other reflections. So I'm wondering if one of them is Moonlight, okay, one of them is Mark, and one of them is Steven, or if we will find out that there is an entirely different personality that is also involved in this whole thing. Wait a minute, Lysandra, you said, won't it be something if they put him in that machine, the one that the policeman was in, to bring him back to life? I'm trying to remember what machine you talking about, the policeman. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know. You got to tell you. You got to remind me what we talking about with the policeman. Hmm. Yeah, I'm lost, girl. Because to be quite honest, we never saw him die, and we did hear T'Challa say, I can take you and get help. I find it very hard to believe that he would not have tried to get him some help. Um, but tell me what policeman we talking about, because I'm lost. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Moon Knight as we continue to approach the premiere of that series. That one comes out on Disney Plus on March 30th. And trust and believe, my calendar is marked, my alarm is set. I'm gonna be ready on March 30th to get into some Moon Knight. I've been waiting for this one. Then I think I think this is last. Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is a show that is also coming on Disney Plus. And as you can see, Nick Fury returns. Nick Fury not only returns, so we got Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about now, Lysandra. Yeah. Um, if anybody can bring him back, it would be Shurian now. So yeah, I I wouldn't be shocked. The only problem I would have with that, Lysandra, and I'm pretty sure other people would have the same problem, is if Killmonger was available, why didn't he fight with them during Infinity War and during Avengers Endgame? That is going to be the one um, the one question that they would have to answer that would make this whole thing illogical. It would have to have been a good reason why we never saw Killmonger out there in that fight, because everybody available was supposed to be in that fight. So that's the one thing that I would have a problem with. And I keep telling you, I know how to nitpick. So if I'm nitpicking, somebody else would too. But that would be the only problem, unless they say that he got dusted and he wasn't completely healed from the fight that he had with T'Challa. That would be the only thing. But again, it's a good way to bring him back, but those questions would have to be answered for crazy, diehard, stupid fans like myself who think too much, so that it would keep them from being too judgmental. Now we're gonna talk about Secret Invasion real quick before we get out of here. Secret Invasion is us seeing what it would be like if the scrolls from Captain Marvel, the scrolls are shapeshifters. They can take on the appearance of any person, um, down to their fingerprints. They can take on their entire persona, except for yeah, Lysandra. They never said what happened to him, but if he was there and he got healed, he would have had to fight in that war. Now, if he was there and it was like, oh, he wasn't healed yet, I can get behind that. Okay, he wasn't healed yet. I can get behind that. But if he come out and he's 100% okay, we got some explaining to do. We got some explaining to do. So yeah, we seeing Nick Fury without the eye patch first and foremost. With this beard, we got a more grizzled look to Nick Fury. So what does this mean? You even see him growing some hair. He's not even shaved completely bald. And then we have Emilia Clarke here. We don't know who she's playing yet, but she's going to be in Secret Invasion. We don't know who she's playing. I have questions, but this is a series that I'm waiting for because this is also another thing, Lysandra, is that any character in the Marvel universe right now can be a Skrull. And like I said, the Skrulls are the green shapeshifters from Captain Marvel. We also saw them at the end of Infinity War. We didn't see them in Infinity War. We also saw them at the end of the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. We saw the Skrulls. This is introducing the Skrulls. Oh, we saw the Skrulls also in we saw one in Loki and we saw one in WandaVision. So yeah, we've seen Skrulls sprinkled here and there. So we got these Skrulls, and what has happened is that they have infiltrated the highest layers of politics, celebrity, even the heroes themselves could have been replaced by Skrulls. And this is what they mean by secret invasion, because you would have no way of knowing that the person standing next to you is not who you think it is. It's a damn Skrull. I am looking forward to seeing how they bring this thing to life. I'm glad they made it a series so that they don't have to rush to tell a story. But this is a series that I'm very interested in how they make this thing real, how they bring it to life. Because the Skrulls are now, if we're to believe it, the Skrulls have been around since the 90s. And the only person that we've seen them impersonate is Nick Fury and Maria Hill. So I want to see what else they've gotten into. And are these Skrulls that have gotten into this shit, are they for us or against us? What is the end game for this? How is this thing going to shake out? I am so looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what Disney Plus does with it. Again, Secret Invasion. We know Emilia Clarke is showing up. If you got a clue as to who she could be playing, I'd like to hear about it in the chat. With all that being said, I have covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight. It has been our regular 2-hour affair. I've had fun talking to me and Lysandra. This is what we do. So if you have any comments on any of the stories that I share, any feedback, anything, comments, you put all that in the comments on the rebroadcast. And do me a favor, subscribe to the show for movie reviews, streaming series recaps, and discussions. And also, of course, this here, entertainment news. I love doing it with you. Come tomorrow at 6 p.m. I keep forgetting to change this to say 6 p.m. We're doing at 6 p.m. Central Time. We are doing the recaps for Star Trek Prodigy, for Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, and for DC's Peacemaker. And we might be talking about also what we are going to be having on our agenda a little bit later. After that, if you would like to continue and support the show, we can do donations at any of the locations that you see going across your screen right now. I accept donations and I need them really, really bad. You can also support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Tasha Pierce. You pick a tier, any tier. I'll be very grateful for your support. Last but not least, send me your topic ideas, your suggestions, and your feedback to sinister.media.network@gmail.com. It's been fun. Later, bitches.